Here we've got a div with a special ID or class, and inside that div I have a field set with a legend. Next I have a table, and in that table the table has two rows. Each row has a table data cell, and inside the first table data cell of the first row I've got three iframes, which you see large with this purplish pink color border. The second row of the table has a table data cell and an unordered list. Inside the list, I have links that open up something in each of the three iframes. I'm going to start from the top of the page and slowly move my mouse cursor. I've used hover events to change the background color so that we can see exactly what elements of the page I'm referring to once I get inside the code. Also, I have tooltips that pop up as soon as I cross the border of the next element. So the background color of this page, the body, is set in the style sheet to gray. The field set that is bordered in thick green outset also has a gray background, but the only reason its background is gray is because it doesn't have another background color set. So it's transparent and it's picking up the body's background color. By the time I slide my mouse down to that section, it's going to highlight in blue because, well, I'll just start at the top and go through each one as I hit it. So I start at the top, blue. This is the field set in blue. So the green border and the blue background is the entire diameter of the field set, and everything else is inside the field set. The field set has a caption that's called a legend. So if I get over here, it turns pink, and this is the legend of the field set in pink. If I come back here, now I'm going to move toward the table. Once I get to the table, whoops, I went too far. This white, this is a table in white. This is the next element that we're working with. I go a little further. This is the first row that has a table data cell in it, and it's got a hover of orange, and it has the three iframes inside of it. If I go past this table row and table data cell, I get the second row. This is a table data cell in orange with an unordered list inside of it. Here's our unordered list to the left. They're the boxes that you see. I have a hover event for the list items. It turns a darker green. It says this is a list item. Then I have a hover event for the actual text itself, which is what you click to link. This is a link to three frames. This particular link is going to put an MP4 file that shows a cup in the left iframe. It's going to show glasses in the center, and it's going to show a book on the right. The only thing I did to make these MP4 videos was take my cell phone and look at some inanimate object on my desk and just put the phone closer and farther away just to show some type of movement. The next one, it's another list item. I have another tooltip that says this is a list item, and if I get over here to the text, this is a link to three iframes. These three things are going to link to YouTube videos. John Legend and Stevie Wonder on the left iframe, Bill Withers in the center, and Dave Matthews Band on the right. The very first one, this is a list item. Again, this is a link to three iframes. My children will be on the left, my husband will be in the center, and my desk will be on right. Those are JPEG files. They open faster than anything. The YouTube videos open a little slower, and once we get to the MP4 videos, because I'm using a QuickTime Player plugin to open this up in Firefox, sometimes I have problems with it. Sometimes it gets stuck and I'll get an error message and have to close out. The last time I attempted this video, it actually worked well, but we'll see what happens. First, let me show you the JPEGs. There's my kids, there's my husband, there's my desk. Well, actually, that was my desk when I was staying with my son, Jeremy, who is right there. And now let's check out the YouTube videos. Now, okay, I did it again. If you just click the green list item, that's not going to give you a link. You have to actually click the text, and then we'll get our YouTube videos. Here's John Legend. Let's give it a go. And it works. Let's try Bill Withers. This video contains content from SME. It is restricted from playback on certain sites. Watch on YouTube. So it'll let you watch it, but not in your iframe. You have to go to YouTube and check it out there. And they often have commercials as well. Same thing with Dave Matthews Band. This video contains content from Vivo. It is restricted from playback on certain sites. Watch on YouTube. So once you get in here, you're good to go after maybe a commercial or something. Alrighty. Let me get out of there. And let me hit pause because I have a timer going off. Okay, I'm back. Let me get this out of the way. The links here started off with white font, white text, and once we visited them, they turned black. Then when you hover over them, they turn, I want to think that's supposed to be pink, but it sure looks white. And when you left click, you get this lime color or this light green color. So those are different things, different style settings that are also in the CSS. All right, so let me get out of this. When you first start a web page, the first thing that you do is you pay no mind to what I'm going to go over shortly. Let's pretend this isn't a completely blank web page. So you first start off with your HTML tag. Inside that, we're going to have a head, beginning tag, and an end head tag. After that, we're going to have a body and an end body. The type of things that go in head would be a title. You can put an external .css style sheet in here. You can link an external .js JavaScript sheet, which is going to give us some action. You can put some styles in here. Instead of linking to an external style sheet, you can just put in the beginning style tag and the end style tag and go from there. One thing I'm going to do is I am going to put a title and I am going to put a style in the head. And then when I get to the body, I'm going to put all those elements such as the div, the field set, the legend, the table row, table data cell, and the other table row, table data cell with the elements that are inside of them. And that'll be it. So let me get all this out of the way and start going from top to bottom as much as I can. Here's the beginning HTML. Way down here is the end. We've already filled it up. Here's the beginning of the head, and there's the ending of the head. There's the ending of the style, so the style goes from there to there. Oh, we do have a title, open 3 iframes. Let me hit save because those look like they were still blue, so they needed to be clicked. I don't know what was changed and needed to be saved. The title is this right here. It says open 3 iframes. This is Firefox, and this is this rounded tab. Every time you open a new tab, you get either the path. If you don't have a title set, you'll get the path to whatever file that you're looking at, or in this case, I set a title and it says open 3 frames. If I take that title off, well, actually I can just, whoops, that's the wrong way to comment. I can just comment it out, so now, and save it. So now we don't have a title in the head, and then refresh this page. Now you see what's up here? What's up here is the path. It's this file colon forward slash C colon forward slash documents and settings, blah, blah, blah. That's what's showing in here. And I really don't want that. So that's why I'm going to put the title back. Oops. Alrighty. Another thing I want to talk about real quick before I get into the rest of this, my images and my videos. When I tried to directly link them to my iframes, I had difficulty in width and height because the pictures were not all cut out in the same dimension. Were not saved as a dimension that matches the iframes. So by putting them here, I can adjust the height and width here. Otherwise, if I didn't put it there like that, I would just have this mykids.jpg linking right here in any of these href assignments, and I wouldn't be able to, like I said, adjust the height and width as I wanted to. So pick1.html is going to have my kids.jpg in it. Pick2.html is the web page that's going to have married.jpg in it. And pick3.html is going to have cartoon.jpg in it. That's the one that has my desk. It's very simple code. There's the pair of HTMLs. Here's a head. Since we are pulling this into an iframe, I don't need to worry about a browser tab having a title in it, so I don't need to add a title. It has a very small style. The body is given a padding of 0 pixels and margin of 0 pixels. And I have a div set to text align of center. Because I created my image to stretch the height and the width of the entire window, the div align center doesn't really do anything. But if I change this height and width so that it isn't bucked all the way up to the entire window circumference, then by text aligning center, it's going to position the picture in the middle of the iframe that it's in, and it'll make it look a little nicer. If I just run this pick3.html, you'll see how it opens up in just the page by itself. If I move the window, let's pretend that you have different monitor screens. Well, the more narrow your screen, like a tablet, this is what it would look like. If you have a desktop screen that's more square, this is how it would appear. And then if you've got this long rectangle one like I have, like a widescreen type of TV or monitor, then it kind of stretches it out. So my picture's getting skewed depending on whatever it's contained in. My iframes are somewhat square. So the picture is going to come out somewhat like this. Before I put this in its own page, this particular cartoony looking picture went from here to here, and then down, and then right about to here. And all of this on the right side and all of this at the bottom was just trim, and it looked like garbage. So I'm sacrificing the actual, what do they call it? What's the name? Hold on, I'll tell you the name in a second. I gotta go to scale. The aspect ratio I'm sacrificing so that I don't have borders, strange borders. So that basically shows you how my images get pulled into these iframes, and they all are like the same width and height. This one is stretching it slightly so that our faces are actually wider than they are in the true picture. And this one is stretching the kids ever so slightly so that they look a little thinner and taller than the actual picture showed. It didn't skew enough to make it look very, very strange, but these two are actually skewed. And I want to think that this one is skewed ever so slightly too, on the fat end. but they're not skewed so bad that I didn't like it, so I'm leaving it. All right. So I went over how my JPEG images are being pulled in. Let's go through how the videos are being pulled in. They are doing the same thing. They're going in their own web page. There's the HTML, there's the head, there's the style, very simple, padding 0, margin 0, end head, body. Um, there's a div just in case I want to use it for anything. At this point, I'm not really using it for anything, so I could just make it go away, but I left it. Oh, I did make it go away for those. Well, heck with it. I guess whenever I want to mess with it, I'll mess with it. I'll just take the divs out because if they're not doing anything, well, I have them, right? Okay, um, this is a media player. It's from apple.com. It's got the QT, the QuickTime ActiveX Control QT plugin cab. It's got a height of 99%, a width of 100%. You can fiddle with these dimensions if your player's coming out in a way that you don't like into your iframe. You can increase or decrease the height and width to make it show the way you want on your particular system. This whole part right here is the object opening tag. This is the closing tag. For the most part, any element's opening tag is going to have a whole lot of extra junk in it, while the closing tag is just going to be really simple. Inside the object tag, you have parameters. You've got 4 parameters here. Parameter name equals source value equals book.mp4. This is my actual video, book MP4. The next parameter's name is autoplay with a value of false because I don't want you to open up 3 videos and they all 3 attempt to open at the same time. We really get a lot of struggle with it and conflict with the page when that happens. Param name equals controller, value equals true, so that you actually have the play, pause, and stop buttons, and you see the scroll to see how much longer you have before the end. And param name equals scale, value equals aspect, keeps your video true and it will not skew, and it will not just show you a part of the video, it will show you the whole thing, even if it has borders. You can't really escape the borders in this case. Then there's an embed tag inside of, there's the opening embed and there's the closing embed inside of the object tag. And they have the similar parameters. Embed height is 99%, width is 100%. Source is book.mp4, plugins page equals, and then it gives you this link, type video / QuickTime, controller equals true, volume equals 100, autoplay equals false, scale equals aspect. If you have 99% and 100% here, do the same thing in the embed. If you have autoplay false here, do the same thing in the embed. So both the object tags parameters and embed tags parameters have to match. So this one right here, this web page opens up in a QuickTime player my book. This one is exactly the same except it opens up the cup. And this is exactly the same, but it opens up the glasses. Okay, so those are the things that are going to point to the iframe. Not the video by itself, not the JPEG by itself, but those pages that contain the JPEGs and the videos inside. Okay, let's see how far up. I'm going to quickly go over the style. We have a style for the body. Background color gray, margin 0 pix, padding 0 pix, font size 25 pixels. We have a style for the table, width of 100%, height of 100%. For the field set, we have border 20 pixels green outset, border radius 20 pixels. Border radius with a pixel is what is giving us this rounded part. You can go 10 pixels and make it more pointy. You can go 50 pixels and make it look almost like a semicircle. The higher the number of the border radius right here, the more rounded. The lower the number, the more pointy. We're giving it a height of 94% and a padding of 0 pix. We have a field set hover. All of these hovers are what I used to show you exactly where the elements lied. So our field set hover was background color blue. Once I had my cursor over the field set, it popped a background of blue for the whole where the whole field set was. Our Legend hover had background color pink. Our iframe hover had a border of thick red solid, which we did not see because there was too much other stuff on front of it. So since we did not see that, I can just get it out, minimize my code. Our table hover had a background color of white. Our TD, which is our table data cell hover, had a background color of orange. We had 2 rows in our table, so we had 2 sections that gave us a background color of orange. Then we have another thing, a thing for our legend, font size 35 pixels, because we wanted, this is our legend, I wanted this text a little larger than it actually was, so I opened that up to 35 pixels. A font weight of bolder, so it's heavier, a border of thick yellow solid, which when you first look at it, you don't see a border because I also set the background to yellow. It isn't until you hover that you actually see the background turns to pink because of the hover, but the border stays the same yellow. Okay, then we have a border radius of 20 pixels, again, that rounds the corners. Padding of 2 pixels so that the words don't smash right up against the border. And again, I told you the background color was yellow. The table, I don't know why I have this in 2 different places. That's ridiculous. We got to erase that. I don't need 2 different places for the table. This dot triple, when we first get to the body, which is right here, after we finish talking about the styles, we have a div class called triple. We only have 1 div, so I didn't really need to give it a class name, but if you made a web page with multiple divs and you wanted each div to have the elements inside an absolutely different color or width or however you wanted it set up, you give it a class and then you use that class up here in the style with the dot and the name of the class and then the name of the element that you want to stylize. So in our triple div, our unordered list is going to be given this style of display inline. Lists usually start from top to bottom, which would be display block. Displaying it in line allows us to go from left to right. Then we have in our triple the LI hover, which is our list item. When we hover over our list item, which was the green square, we are going to get this darker green background color. Then we have in the triple, we have the link. When you first open up the page, all the text down there on the links starts off white with a font weight of bold. When you visit it, the color turns black. So A visited, color black. When you hover over it, again, we're talking about these things. Even though that doesn't look pink, it is. When you hover over it, it is pink. Active means that you are left clicking it. So if you left click it and hold it, you'll see the color is like this lime green. The next one is a class of vidrow, and let's read that real quick. It's got the height of 400 pixels, border thick black solid, text align center, border radius 20 pixels, background color black. When you come down here, here it is. This is in, our table starts here, our first table row starts there, our first table data cell starts there, and we give it this class because we want this row right here to be taller so that when we put our images in here, it's larger. So we actually stylized this to be 400 pixels in height. So that's what vidrow does. Vidrow iframe is going to stylize these 3 iframes that are inside the table data cell of vidrow. And we're going to give those iframes a border of thick purple solid, a height of 100%, a width of 32% because we want 3 side by side. 33% because of the padding and the borders actually breaks the picture. I'll show you how that works. 33%, save it, open it up and refresh it. Do you see? We don't have that nice single row. It butts down because of the border and the thing, 33% is close to 100%. We need to lower that and make it ever so shorter. So we're going to minimize that from 33 to 32 again. That way, at least with this particular monitor, that way it flows. Okay, so then we did that, and then border rate is 20 pixels because I like rounded corners. Then we have the end of the style, the end of the head, the beginning of the body. Here is that div I was telling you about, div class triple, and you have to have the end of the div right here. The next thing that happens is our field set. There's our opening tag. Field set title equals this is the field set in blue. Everywhere you see title, that is my tooltip. So if I say title equals and then put something in double quotes, it's going to give me a tooltip. So if I want to be a little smart butt, I can say, "You are one ugly mother!" Exclamation point. And I could save that, and I could go up to this, and I could refresh it. And then when you happen to pause over here by the legend, now it's lying. All right, maybe I changed the wrong title. All right, this is what we're going to do with this. We're going to clear the history because I think the browser is doing too good of a job memorizing. Now I'm going to hit refresh. Now I'm going to... that's very strange. I did something very wrong. This is the legend of the field set in pink. I don't know what I did wrong because that should have gave me that whole new... Let me Control Z. This is the field set in blue. What, they're not going to let me say "you're an ugly mother" on this? That doesn't make any sense. I should say whatever I want. It's my title. Well, I'm at a loss. I have no idea why I can't change that. That is very strange. Oh, Lord. That's why. I'm looking at the field set, not the legend. So I'm going to hit Control Y and put that ugly thing back in there because I just think it's funny. Or I can't. So I have this SDFG blah 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 blah. I was highlighting the wrong thing. I go here, blah blah blah. Okay, so this is the field set in blue. I confused myself. I should have been changing this one down here for what I was hovering over, which is the next line. Legend title, this is the legend of the field set in pink, and these are the words of the legend. Each single link opens 3 frames. Each single link opens 3 frames. Next we have our table. Table title equals, this is a table in white, and I'm not going to go back and forth showing every tooltip because we've seen that in the beginning. Our first table row has a table data, the class of video row, which I already showed you up there, the title, which is the tooltip that says this is a table data cell in orange with 3 iframes inside of it. The first iframe says iframe ID equals 1, name equals frame 1, source equals nothing, and the end iframe tag. And we do the same thing with the other two, except we give them another ID and another name. You can actually have the ID and the name the same thing. The difference is the ID is what you use if you want to come up here in the style section and style each individual iframe differently. The name is what you use when you come down here and link stuff. So here you see frame 1, and here you see frame 2, and here you see frame 3. You use the name of the iframe to do the linking. So that ends that table data cell and the end of that table data row for the table. Here's the second table row. This table data cell's title says this is a table table data cell in orange with an unordered list inside of it. There's the beginning of the unordered list. And you've got 3 list items. That's the green squares. Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, and here's the end of the unordered list. Every list item has a beginning list tag and an end list tag. This list tag is normally just LI with these 2 brackets on either side, but because I added a title, it's LI title equals this is a list item. Then we go for the address, if you will. aref equals pic1.html, and that's the HTML page that has the picture of my kids in it. The target is set equal to frame 1. That's the first iframe on the left-hand side. The title is the tooltip. As I put my arrow over it, it's going to say this is a link to 3 frames. The on-click event is what makes it all happen. The on-click in red is set equal to all of this stuff in double quotes. Window.frame2 location.href equals pic2.html. Window.frame3 location.href equals pic3.html. Return true. And each one of these statements is ended with a semicolon, as if you were writing a sentence with a period. Notice before the on-click, we set the pic1 HTML by using the word target equals frame 1. But since we want this one single link to open up more windows, we add those with the on-click event. Now, this whole thing was the opening link tag, and this little A by itself is the closing link tag. This little piece in the middle is the text that you're going to click in order to make it work. You can say anything you want in there, but what I did was I identified what was going to open in each iframe in the order that it's going to open. My children on the left, my husband in the middle, my desk on the right. These BR tags are breaks. If you don't have this break, then my children, my husband, my desk will all show up on one line. And if the container that they're in isn't long enough, then it'll go down to the next line in a very random fashion, and I'll take these break tags off just to show you how that looks. So I'm going to hit refresh. See, my children, my husband, my desk, it went as far as it could and then dropped down. I did not want it like that on one line. I wanted to break it. Furthermore, I did not just want to break it with one line. I'll show you what it looks like if I just break it with one line. You don't get a space, and I wanted a space between each of those. But depending on your own desires, you might not like it with a space. You might like it better like this. But I chose to put the space, so in order to get the second line and the space, I had to utilize 2 break tags where I wanted them. All right, so then that ends that one, and that ends the list item. The exact same thing happens there for the second one and the third. The only difference is this one, the first aref is incorporating a YouTube video address, but the target is still frame 1, the title is still, this is a link to 3 iframes, and the on-click works the same way. Window.frame2.location.href, this is the YouTube address to that particular video. It's the embed code address, by the way, not just any old address. You have to go in and click share and then click embed code and just copy and paste just the address part. And then you got window.frame3.location.href equals, and then you got your third video there from YouTube. Same thing with the actual words that you want to click. You use the break tags to separate. And lastly, the very last LI, you got the same thing going there and the same idea, only this time your aref is cup video page.html, same target, frame 1, same title. On click works the same, window.frame2.location.href, and you put that second page with the video. This is glasses video page.html. And window.frame3.location.href equals book video page.html. One thing you need to be clear about is pay attention to when you use double quotes and when you use single quotes. This particular on-click envelops the whole on-click with double quotes. And because these are inside the double quotes, they're being differentiated by using single quotes on the inside. If this was a double quote and this was a double quote, the computer might read what's in between here and here to be what's intended to be the double quote. I'm sorry, between here and here. So you can't have 4 double quotes in a row. You have to differentiate. You have to have the double quote, then the single quotes, and then maybe other single quotes. See, because you have the end of a command here, you have a brand new line here. That's why you use the single quotes in here. And then your final part to this whole on-click event is the ending double quote. And we get the same thing, MP4 cup, break, break, MP4 glasses, break, break, and MP4 book. There's the ending tag of the link itself. There's the ending LI. Because there's no more lists, you have the ending UL, which means unordered list. The ending table data cell, the ending table row, the ending table, the ending field set, the ending div, the ending body, and the ending HTML. And with that, that's the end of this video.